friends. Oh, I'm looking like a really especially hot mess this morning. My apologies. I am hopping on here real quick because it is Friday and it is Way Day, and I need to give you an update as promised. And I have a busy day today, which starts at I have to leave home at 8:30 a.m. It's now 6 a.m. So I'm having my cup of coffee, and I thought I'd come on quick and give you the update. So last Friday I was 141, and this morning I woke up to a total of 138.6 for a loss of 2.4 pounds. Now, let me take a step back. Oh my. To explain my interpretation of that. I do my best to keep my channel clean and honest, because there's no point in making a channel, at least not at my age, to come on here and stand on pretense with you. You know, this is my journey for the last almost year and a half now with this channel, and honesty is the best policy. The purpose of doing this is to put my journey, to journal my journey in video, and to see if I could help anyone else who might have a lot of the issues, especially as an older person who's had these issues since the age of 8. I thought maybe if someone else stumbled upon my channel, that they would be able to maybe feel, I don't want to say the word better, but get some consolation that they're not alone, and that what they're going through, or some of what they're going through, is not uncommon, because it can be a really lonely place when you are in this situation. A person who has a chronic weight, I'll call it a chronic weight loss problem, or who's been a chronic dieter, or battling the daily battle of, I want to eat that, but I can't eat that, but I want to eat that, but I can't eat that, or I shouldn't eat that, or it's not good for me, or day is Friday, it's Thursday, all of that insane stuff that goes on, at least in my head. So for those of you who are new, I started my journey in the United States. We have a plan called Nutrisystem. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Marie Osmond is the spokesperson, has been the spokesperson for that program, and I was calorie counting using NutriCheck before I started that. How I stumbled on NutriCheck was really because I went on YouTube. I was doing Weight Watchers since 2018. Weight Watchers never really worked for me. I always did it with calorie counting with my Fitness Pal or Lose It app. And somewhere along the line, I started looking up YouTubers who calorie count, and guess what? I didn't find one person in the U.S. Not that it mattered. I didn't really care, as long as I found people who were doing what I was trying to do. And I came upon several people, and I want to say A Slice of Jess was the first person. I think I've been watching her the longest, and then I found Rebecca. I found of course, my good friend Jo is the person that I really stuck with, because she stuck with calorie counting really the longest, and I just became very enamored with her, and I'm very happy and privileged to call her my friend. She's over in Wales. And now I have also Gemma, and I don't want to leave anybody out, Carla Jenkins, and then of course Karen of A Bit of Kaza. I've watched these people for quite a long time now, and they use NutriCheck. And so I bought NutriCheck, and I fell in love with NutriCheck. And I still have NutriCheck, and I really do still like it the best of all the calorie counters. Maybe because it's very visual and colorful, and I am a very visual person, and I think it brings more to the table in terms of the interpretation of macros, and how they show you the pie chart and the bar chart. Anyway, not to get off on that for a half hour. So then I know I first heard of Slimming World through A Slice of Jess, because she had come off doing Slimming World and went to calorie counting. So I had that. Didn't know anything about it. I don't think I even looked it up at that point. And then when Jo, my friend Jo, switched from calorie counting to Slimming World, that's when I really learned a lot more about it. And by that point in time, I had been done with Nutrisystem, because I did reach goal of 129 or 1:30ish last July. And now I was in maintenance mode, which is the hardest place, I believe. If you're eating, if you're not on a diet anymore and you're now really in maintenance, you're supposed to increase calories and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? That doesn't work for me either. So I've been in a struggle with that. And believe me, I went up a couple pounds, but I made it through January of this year, the end of January of this year, pretty much at goal. And then things went haywire for me because things in my life went a little bit haywire. Not to put blame, I just was not, I let things get away from me. And also stress, especially the last month with my husband, who's not been feeling well. And hopefully on the 16th, we will get some help for that, help for him. And anyway, so in December of 2022, I did hook up with Slimming World. I bought 3 months of it. I bought the highest package, which gave me the books, the magazines, the cookbooks, everything. And then I was still eating a lot of Nutrisystem food because the reason I wanted to go to Slimming World was to eat more whole foods and a lot more plant-based. And I do truly believe this plan, if you want to be a vegan, a vegetarian, a pescatarian, any of the more whole foods based eating lifestyles, this is the place to be because they give you just enough parameters to help you with weight loss, but at the same time live your life and really eat delicious food. But again, pardon me for the noise. We do live in the suburbs, more than the suburbs. My husband's family owns a farm around the corner from where we live. But our back road here, they do 80 miles an hour, and it is traffic for morning commutes. I apologize. It's the only other place I can go in the house at this moment. So anyway, so I have since been studying 3 doctors, which I have talked about before, who are giving me the guidelines for the kinds of foods I want to incorporate into my daily eating that are going to be healthier for me, over and above eating whole foods and plant-based. So that brings me to Slimming World. In addition to that, now that I've been doing Slimming World, I can also still eat some Nutrisystem foods. I just had to figure out, because again, being in the States, and the company is wonderful. If I go into chat, I can ask any question I want. I've been to a Zoom meeting now, which was wonderful. I was so welcomed. I cannot tell you the look of surprise on everyone's faces in the meeting that I was in New York, Zooming with them. So it's also a wonderful company. I can't say enough good about my experience with them so far. But this is very, very simple plan. For those of you who may be looking for something, I don't know, I can give you a link to a guide that will tell you all about the plan and give you all the pointers without signing up for the plan. And it has been updated to 2023. I'm happy to explain anything you'd like to know. I'll sit with the book and look it up. If I can't give you the answer, I'm happy to go into chat to get the answer. And also, we have some lovely groups on Facebook that you can join. They're happy to have you to find out all about the plan. So, does the plan work for me? It works for me provided I work the plan. Now, what does that mean? That means that I stay within the parameters of this plan. Are really very simple. I, at this point, have it down. I don't even need I don't need an app. I don't need anything. What I do need is to write down what I've eaten in terms of my sins and my A's, what's called, you get 1 healthy extra A a day, which is your dairy, and you get 2 healthy extra B's, which is your fibrous food, which could be nuts, seeds, dried fruit. I don't want to leave anything out. And then basically high fiber cereal or bread. So my almond milk is my first healthy extra A, or my soy milk for the day, and then I get cheese of some sort, or cream cheese, or I don't want to leave anything out, like sour cream, creme fraiche, and that has to be weighed and measured. And then everything else is really free. You have speed foods, the food optimizing. Pardon me, this is Little Kitten moving the camera. Food optimizing, basically, your non-starchy veg. There are other your peas, your corn, your beans, Your beans are free in protein. Peas and corn are free in vegetable. Potatoes, rutabaga, just about all of it is free food. And then you go from free food to the speed foods, which are basically non starchy vegetables and fruits, which are your lower glycemic fruits. So I'm just going to leave it at that. If you really want to know about the plan, I can steer you in the direction of where you need to go. There are certainly many people on YouTube that you can watch that know what they're doing, starting with Joanne Morgan, Slimming World Journey. And I'm happy to share with you um, that info if you'd like. So, where am I today? Okay, my interpretation of my weight loss is that, yeah, I lost 2.4 pounds. Guess what that was? I had not a really bad food fast, but I certainly was not on plan for my birthday. Not paying attention to calories, not paying attention to anything pretty much for a few meals. And then, it carried over into a few days. And I went to 141 from 130. 130. I was at 133.8 very comfortably, staying at that weight. So, in the last week, I went down 2.4 pounds. Well, guess what? In the last week, the minute that I start to eat balanced plates of food and vegetables that are anti-inflammatory, that have a lot of fiber, that make my digestive system start working normally or more normally, I could see that amount of drop in weight. What is it? It's water, inflammation, bloat, and maybe a little weight loss. I don't look upon the first week of any plan that I do, although this plan works the best. I would never take off 2.4 pounds on any plan in a week. However, I am not going to take full credit for that because I know that a lot of that is really not weight. But I'm happy to say that I'm feeling much better and I'm now in my direction. And yeah, it feels great to see that on the scale this morning. Am I going to sit here and say it doesn't? Regardless of what the weight means to me and how I interpret it, I think it's wonderful and it's giving me a boost to stay in the direction. Now, had I had a gain today, I would have not been very happy with myself given the fact that I know what I've eaten this week and my interpretation of what that scale is going to say. For me, we all interpret the scale differently. My scale is my friend. It is a tool to me that I use. It's in my little toolbox with many other tools that I have in this journey. So, the plan for going forward is I still have some things that I need to organize for myself so that I can be better at the food optimizing end of things. And one of which is really incorporating, I do have some Nutrisystem foods that I do enjoy eating because sometimes I just do not have the time. And I'd rather eat that, truthfully, than a sandwich. A sandwich to me is not any healthier when it has cold cuts than eating something that's processed from Nutrisystem, like a melt. And their food is very high in fiber generally, low in sugar, depending what you're eating. The things that I eat are basically high in fiber, low in sugar, at least at lunchtime. The melts really have more fiber, and I do count the melts as a healthy extra B for the day. I don't double dip. I don't sin it because I want to limit the amount of I call it starchy foods in terms of like processed bread that I eat a day. I only want to really have that once a day. I'd rather eat than macaroni. I'd rather have a sweet potato or a regular boiled potato, quinoa, than having, like, let's say ravioli for dinner and a sandwich at lunch. That's not going to help me lose weight. I know myself, especially not when I'm at this stage, which is the end. The last 10 pounds for me is really hard. But again, it's a balancing act. Does it mean I'm not going to eat things? No, it does not mean that. Does it mean that because I'm on this whole food, more plant-based mission that I'm not going to have cake or I'm not going to have this or that? No, because that's not reality. I live in the real world. I try to anyway. And I will not sit here and say I'm looking for perfection because perfection to me leads to disaster in my own life with eating And I would not ever sit here and tell you you need to be perfect at this. And if anyone else is, unless you're doing the HCG diet or keto or vegan, because vegan is a lifestyle if you're really truly vegan, and that is totally different. Those are different ball games. Keto, to stay in ketosis, you have to be perfect or near perfect. Um, HCG diet plan, I've been on it. I lost a tremendous amount of weight, and I'm very grateful that I ever did that, even though mine was an herbal HCG. If you're doing that, you have to be perfect during the time you're doing it, or it won't work. Otherwise, all of these other things that we're trying to do, if we're looking for perfection, we're setting ourselves up for failure. That's just how I feel about it, my own personal opinion. So I have some organizing to do in my life because I am starting, I have some new responsibilities, which this week that is the reason why my videos haven't gone up. My apologies, because my schedule's been a little bit messed up. And hopefully this coming week it will go back into a more normal, and hopefully stay, because that's another thing I need to do in my life, is have more, be more organized, and have a system in place. I work with systems. I do much better with a system. So what's coming in terms of videos? I have one what I eat in a day, which I have to finish editing and put up. I have my food shopping, which is not complete yet. Which I will be completing tomorrow, so you should see that over the weekend. And then I'm very excited about this. Only I get excited about such things, but that's okay. I'm an old lady. It doesn't take much. I'm real simple. I visited a British market yesterday, and I was more than excited. It was a last minute thing, and I met a young man, John, and I had the most interesting conversation with him about the UK and where he's from in the UK, his family, and how he got to the US. And he is now has dual citizenship. He's very proud to say that, and I was very excited for him about that. And it was a very enjoyable experience. And I did pick up several things. I spent a whole lot of money, but that's okay, because he was amazed at how much I knew about what I was buying, and then I was asking him for things. He was, I guess, because he doesn't get many American customers coming in that know the British products, and I explained to him exactly why I knew all about them, and it was really, really interesting to have a conversation with. And I took some pictures, so I'll put up a brief little reel like I did for my birthday British afternoon tea, and you'll see that at some point. So let me not forget where I was at. I have a public service announcement. If the American, in the United States, it is recommended that if you are 40 years and above, that you have a baseline mammogram. It could even be that you have one every year after that. I would have to double check, because I am not 40 anymore. I had my first mammogram when I was 36. I don't really talk about that experience because it was horrific for me. And I believe that if you think it, you bring it. So I rather not think about it. And in order for me to explain it to you, I have to think about it, if that makes any sense in the world to you. But I go to a place in Rybrook, New York, which takes me about an hour. And I've been doing that since I was 36. And I work with my Dr. Gail Calamari. There was Dr. LaRusso. She is retired now. And in this particular, it's run by women place, they take above and beyond care of you. And when you leave, it is in writing that you do not, either you need to do something else, or you are cleared for another year until you go again. And nowhere else that I've experienced, and you also get a breast exam, although I did not get one yesterday, but they do give you a breast exam. And the doctor comes in and speaks to you. And if you request that, because since COVID, things have changed a bit. But if I had asked for Dr. Calamari, she would have come to talk to me. I just didn't want to disturb her. She was very busy, and I didn't feel the need to do that. Anyway, if you're familiar with Good Morning America, I used to watch that show religiously back in the 70s and 80s. Joan Lunden was a newscaster. She's not a newscaster. Anyway, if you've heard of Joan Lunden, when Joan Lunden had issues, she went to this same place that I go to. So I feel extremely privileged because she's also done a YouTube video on this. And she talks about it almost every year on her Facebook group. I feel very privileged to have the care that I get in this place. But my message to you is that you should discuss with your doctor. So sorry about that. What care you may need at whatever age you're at. If you're in your 30s, you should probably have a conversation in your 30s about your family history, about if you have one, about ask questions about what it is that you should be doing, whatever country you're in, based on your health organization, medical association. But in the States, we are guided to have a baseline of 40, and I believe go every year after that, depending on your history. So the only way you'll know what you're supposed to do is to basically have that conversation with your primary care doctor, and that is or your gynecologist, obstetrician. That is my message to you this morning, my public service announcement. Please take good care of yourself. I always pretty much end my videos with, please do something for yourself. And today my something for yourself is, if you have not had this conversation yet, to please have some sort of conversation about this topic with whomever it is that you feel comfortable having the conversation with in terms of your medical team, because this is important. And I cannot drive home enough to you how important it is. It is very important, and it is part of your general taking good care of yourself. So if you've not done it yet, please do it. So let that be your one good thing to do this week, or today. Make that phone call if you haven't made it. You know, as I say, we get one go around in this life, and people need us. If you may not think you're needed, you're a very important person. You're needed. Someone needs you. If you're a young mom, you know, even if you're back into your 30s or 40s, or even in your 50s, you know, there's a big difference between 50s and 60s. I can tell you that. We very easily let go of taking care of ourselves. I know I did it. So if I did it, I'm assuming that a lot of others, I mean, I've seen even my YouTube people that I watch, some of them are not able to take good care of themselves. They're finding it very difficult. It is very difficult. But if you don't like stop and pull yourself off to the side of the road of this journey and really start to make a list of things that are very important for you to do, no one's going to do it for you. So please, 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 please do something to take good care of yourself so you can be well. My friend Wendy says this all the time. It's a great message to send to anyone that may be watching our videos. You know, no one can do it for us. It is very hard. I understand that. If you need a buddy, send me an email. I'm very happy to get on Messenger with you. Messenger is free to do video chat. You don't need to be on Zoom. You can be on Messenger with 50 people. I'm very happy to have a chat to talk about things in life that get in our way, because I think that if you don't address that, it's really hard to be on a weight loss journey. You know I did it all. I've had weight loss surgery. I've done it all. Okay? Pretty much done it all. So, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Oops. And I'm going to wish you well. And I'm going to hope you're going to take good care of yourself. And I'm going to see you in my next video. And I will also thank you ever so much for watching this. If you've made it this far, boy, oh boy, you have a lot of patience for me. And I'm going to send you some hugs. And I will see you next time. Be well, my friends.